I'm really talking about it, like figuring my shit out. Just getting the help that I need. I've really found out that surrounding myself, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I haven't really been active as much on social media because I've figured out it's actually helping me a lot to just kind of surround myself with just like all positive energies, like all my friends, like everybody, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's kind of cool, you know? You dig? You gon' choose me, baby. Sorry, I'm ignoring this screen. I'm trying to free up storage on my computer. Also, I wanted to say a little bit more about it. So, schizophrenia is a spectrum. There's not, I mean, yeah, it's a spectrum. There's not just one specific type. There's not, one specific thing that it could be. And it's actually very common in, like, young adults, like people my age and like early 20s, like stuff like that. And it's not a scary thing. I mean, at first it was scary because like the fucking like media and stuff puts just such a gross stigma behind it to where it makes people look crazy and like psychotic and just shit like that, you know what I mean? And it's not like that at all. Like, yeah, there are times where I do feel like I am going crazy. I do have auditory and visual hallucinations. I have both of those. Both of those. Sorry, someone just called me that I haven't talked to. But yeah, they put this stigma on it, and I'm not progressed to the point where I'm like helpless. Like I need someone to like be with me 24/7, you know what I mean? Like luckily we've like caught it and stuff like that. They've actually like been looking into it since I was 16 because if you guys didn't know, I have narcolepsy. And narcolepsy is actually, we found out, caused by schizophrenia. Um, Not sure why. Because schizophrenia can cause insomnia or narcolepsy, just stuff like that. And I do have narcolepsy, so I would get sleep studies done. I would have to be evaluated a lot because with narcolepsy can come depression. And when I was about 15, I got diagnosed with bipolar depression. And you can actually, if it's left untreated or there's just, like a lot of trauma, like a lot of emotional things, this is why I try to tell you guys that it's very, very important to get out, like talk to people, like even if you feel like what you're thinking is crazy or someone might not understand, like it's not good to keep it built up because like a bipolar depression, mine was showing the early signs of schizophrenia, and this past year of my life I've had a pretty hard year, I'm not even gonna lie, and it just like it just triggered it. So it's just like that. But I don't want any of you guys to be like scared of it or like worried or like concerned about like my well-being, or if you guys have a friend that is this way, because I know a lot of you, after I posted that video, had DM'd me, and I've been trying to get back to as many people as I can. But just, like, coming from somebody with the mental illness, what really helps me is when my friends will just be there, you know, like if I'm having an episode where I just, you know, like my brain's just doing its own thing, you know, and I don't really have control over myself. If I have an episode like that, Ren and Ashley and everybody will just kind of, you know, just sit here with me, give me my space, like let me, like, just do all of my shit that I have to do during that episode, like, and then they'll, you know, I'll take my medicine and they'll get me comfortable. They'll, like, sit in here with me until I fall asleep, and that's just really what is, like, helping me, because it's not a sense of me feeling helpless, like I can't do anything, like I'm going crazy, like shit like that, because you gotta think, you already have this stigma around you where people think it's like it's the crazy people disorder, like whatever. And it's just, yeah. I know someone with schizophrenia in his 30s and he's fully functioning. Yeah, like, there's medicines for it, you can get help for it, like, it's not something that's gonna, like, disable you for the rest of your life. Like, what I'm saying is, it's not scary, like, if you have people. So, it's just, like, just make sure you're, like, checking on your people, because we're all at the age where this is very common. And, if you do start getting signs and symptoms of it, if you have a pre-existing mental health disorder like depression, manic disorder, anything like that, or if like you have, like, diagnosed like paranoia, stuff like that, and you feel like truly you feel that it's something bigger, it's progressing into something bigger, like, please go tell someone, you know? Like, make sure you, like, tell someone so that it doesn't just get worse. Because I've been realizing for the past 6 months of my life that it is getting, like, I'm getting bad. Like, I know that I'm getting worse. Like, I'm having more episodes. My hallucinations are getting worse. So I, you know, told them. And they told me, like, okay, Pyper, well, like, we need to get you help. You need to, you know, just figure yourself out. And I'm really trying to do that. And I think I have a great support system behind me, which I'm really grateful for, you know? What's an episode? And I call it an episode because, it's not super bad all the time for me yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not constantly just, you know, like, feeling, like, helpless, like I have no control over my body or anything, or my, like, thoughts. I just kind of, I had one the other night. I don't really remember that well, like, them. I don't know if that's, like, my brain just blocking it out, or, you know what I mean? But I will dissociate myself enough to where sometimes I'll forget where I am. And I'll forget who we're with. And, like, my hallucinations get very bad. I hear my name. You know, like, I hear my name a lot. And, yeah, it's kind of scary, but I know, like, I'm aware that it's a mental health thing. I have to, you know, I have to get myself better. This isn't something to, like, joke and play around with. like, this is something very serious. All mental health things are very serious, but, I went, like, most of my life, like, with just, like, bipolar depression, unmedicated, and, like, I could, like, deal with it, you know what I mean? But this is something very serious. Like, if you feel like you have these thoughts or anything, or, you have someone in your life, it's just, yeah. I'm on a mood stabilizer because my whole thing is, like, it just goes with my mood and, like, really how well I'm taking care of myself, And I smoke. I found out, like, I know that some of y'all are like, oh, Piper, like, you just do drugs. Like, no, like, I smoke because it's, like, proven. Like, my doctor told me, like, if it helps me and it's not, like, getting in the way of anything, if it helps, then it helps. Like, every person is different with everything. Like, I've never met two people with just depression that are the exact same. You know what I mean? So it all is just, like, depending on you. Like, you find out what helps you. And if that helps, then that helps. Is that why you're always home? Yeah, it is actually. I've discovered that I get severe, like, it gets worse sometimes when we're, like, out in public, because there will be, like, a lot of just, like, shit going on, and sometimes that'll, like, trigger it to where it just, I'll start thinking that I'm, like, hearing something that's not actually there, or I'll see something that's not actually there. And it is kind of scary, like I said, but I don't know. I'm just trying to, like, get this out there, because when I say I'm schizophrenic, I'm not meaning it as, like, feel bad for me, like, I'm crazy, like, I'm going crazy. It's just like, this is it. This is me. This is how it is. This is just me. And it's okay, I'm working on myself. It's just how it is. And, like, trauma can really, like, people don't realize that, like, trauma is, like, can really fuck with you. Like I said, like, I was, like, yeah, I wasn't, like, perfectly fine. Like, I had bipolar depression, but it, like, and I had bipolar depression type 2. So it's not that I was manic all the time. If I was either super, 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 super happy and loving life, and then super, super, super sad, can't get myself out of bed, I had type 2, to where it was, I would just get in those small ruts. You know what I mean? Like, they rest, like, 2-3 days, and then I'll be fine. And then, sometimes it just, shit happens. Shit happened in my life. In the past 6 months, I've really just been, and yeah, it just developed into this. Are the hallucinations, like, people or crazy things? Okay, so my visual hallucinations, it's not like, it's very, very hard to explain. I'm sorry. I'm really just trying to, like, get this, you know what I mean? Whatever. But, are we doing a therapy session? Yeah, Catherine. I'm just explaining, like, the schizophrenia and stuff. But, I'm really just trying to get it out there that, like, you can be like, very normal, like, a very functioning person, and still suffer from this mental illness, What are symptoms of schizophrenia other than hallucinations? I have... Okay. I'm gonna do something that I'm not telling you guys this. I don't want any of you guys to self-diagnose. Like, please do not do that. I do understand that getting a diagnosis for some people is a luxury, but please, 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 at least on this, do not self-diagnose. Genuinely don't, because this isn't something that you, like, play around with. Like, this is actually very serious. So, we're just going to look up signs and symptoms. Oh. Okay. So, there is, like I said, there's different types of schizophrenia. So you have, like, you know, your mild or normal, medium, whatever. This is not what I was doing. Nope, that is medication. That's the medication I'm on. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to... And I know some of you guys are like me. You just kind of like learning about shit, you know? I like to sometimes just learn about stuff. So, for you guys that, like, actually wanna, get it? Were you professionally diagnosed? Yes, I was. By a neurologist. So, and a psychiatrist. So, that's why I'm telling you all that sometimes it is a luxury. Okay. So, your typical symptoms. Okay, signs and symptoms. So, a sign is something that, what was it? I just lost all my brain cells. Anyways, a symptom, delusions. I do have delusions. I have the type of schizophrenia to where I genuinely feel like everyone's motive in my life is to hurt me, I get very scared that's another reason that I get very, very scared when we go out in public, and why it gets worse when we're out in public, because the more people around, the more I'm watching and making sure no one's trying to hurt me. So I genuinely feel like deep down that everyone is trying to hurt me. And I know that they're not, but it's just, it's just my brain. It's just how it is. I just have delusions, and that's how it is. I have hallucinations. I have the disorganized speech, behavior, stuff like that, to where my my behavior, I'll be okay, and then randomly I'll either take on like this really, really like silly, like goofy, funny, like crazy, rah, in your face personality, and then the next second I can be, you know what I mean? I can be just completely out of it. Like, not even involved. I can seem like I'm just not even there. And, yeah. I have, I don't know if you guys notice, sometimes when I'm talking, I'll zone out and just start talking about something that makes no sense, completely unrelated, doesn't make sense what I'm saying. That would be like a negative symptom. Yeah, and like I've withdrawn myself a lot from a lot of people, and that's like a thing. Like it's like people with depression and stuff do that as well. Like, that's something that I've found is pretty common in most mental health disorders, where you just try to isolate yourself, and that's never a good thing. Like, you always are gonna want to be with people, you know what I mean? Like, you just want to, you know what I mean. And then, let's see. Yeah. And another thing with schizophrenia is, like, you're unaware up until it's, like, getting, like, pretty bad. You know what I mean? So I was completely unaware that I was having all these signs and symptoms, and it was showing it. Like, it had been projecting itself for a while now, but because I haven't been home and I haven't been, you know, like, going to the doctor regularly, like my neurology doctor, like, whatever, what was I saying? Yeah, I just, like, couldn't, you know, put it out there and, like, realize that that's what this was. Like, this was me spiraling, in a, like, easier way to put it. Me spiraling. Yeah, and literally, fact, y'all telling me that I'm wrong about my diagnosis is very invalidating, and it makes me feel like shit, and it makes me feel terrible about myself. So thank you for all the people that are trying to tell me that I'm not actually diagnosed with this and I have something else. So you can tell my doctor, both of my doctors that diagnosed me, that went to school for multiple years. So also, it's very common, like, so, you know, obviously when you're, like, a child, like a baby in the womb, like, shit that your mother does, like, very well can hurt the baby. Like, if there's a mother that's doing drugs, the baby is gonna have, like, you know, or it's, like, fatal alcohol syndrome, stuff like that. But it can actually, during birth, schizophrenia can be caused even at that very, very, very young age, because, like, complications, drug use, alcohol use, shit like that. So, yeah. Schizophrenia can cause this. I'm looking up on the Mayo Clinic just so that I'm, like, shit that I'm telling y'all that I don't have, that maybe, like, some of you know someone or something. I'm just reading off all of these things so that you can just be aware of shit like this. Untreated. I have all of these things, actually. So, you know, you never know. So sometimes you can get complications with it, just like anything, if it's left untreated, such as suicide, attempts of suicide, thoughts of suicide, OCD, depression, abuse of alcohol, drugs, nicotine, inability to work or attend school, financial problems, homelessness, social isolation, health and medical problems, being victimized, aggressive behavior, although it's uncommon. So, left untreated, obviously, if you are, like, at least like me, yeah, it gets pretty like, it gets very stressful just hearing shit all the time, you know? Anything, I'm live, I'm gonna end my live. 5 seconds. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go hang out with Ren. But, okay, love you guys.